No, let me tell y'all something. Football done got too complicated. You got coaches with tablets, players wearing sensors, referees reviewing replays for 10 minutes and still getting it wrong. Back in the day, if you dropped the ball, the whole neighborhood knew you messed up. We didn't need no slow motion replay. We had mamas in the crowd yelling, boy, you better catch that ball if you want to eat dinner tonight. Every time you step onto that field, you can feel it in the air. The tension, the chaos, the storm brewing like a whirlwind that refuses to be tamed. Football, the sport that was meant to bring people together, that was meant to unify communities and ignite a passion in the hearts of fans young and old, has become a battlefield of confusion. Coaches screaming from the sidelines like prophets warning a nation, players running in every direction with no rhyme or reason. Referees wandering like lost shepherds trying to find their flock. It's a mess, and anyone with eyes can see it. And yet, we continue to watch, we continue to cheer, and somehow we pretend that the disorder is part of the game. But let me tell you, it's not. There is a higher purpose to sport, a sacred rhythm that has been broken. And until we recognize the chaos that rules the field, football will continue to be a place of noise without direction. I look at these coaches, these men and women who are supposed to be guiding their teams like leaders guiding their people, and I see desperation. I see fear disguised as authority. They bark orders, they wave their hands, they pound on the turf, and still their players wander as if they are lost souls without vision. And the players themselves, the players, gifted athletes, strong, talented, full of potential, yet wandering in a wilderness of confusion. They run plays that make no sense. They collide with each other in ways that defy logic. They make decisions in split seconds that seem guided not by strategy, but by panic, by impulse, by a lack of clarity that shakes the very foundation of the sport. The crowd roars, but it is a hollow cheer because deep down, they know that this chaos is not part of the glory, not part of the triumph, not part of the beauty that should be the heart of football. And then there are the referees, those arbiters of justice on the field, whose very presence should bring order and fairness, yet often they are as lost as the rest. They blow their whistles at the wrong times. They miss the obvious. They falter under pressure. And suddenly, the game that should be a display of skill and strategy becomes a circus of doubt and frustration. These men and women, entrusted with responsibility, become symbols of the disorder, walking reminders that even those called to guide can stumble if they lack focus, integrity, and vision. The whistle becomes not a tool of authority, but a symbol of uncertainty, and the fans, who come seeking clarity and passion, are left in the stands questioning everything. It's a spiritual thing to this chaos. There is a rhythm to life, a divine order to things that are meant to flourish. And when we ignore it, when we allow disorder to take root, everything suffers. Football at its core is a sacred dance of effort and skill, a test of discipline, of courage, of unity. Every play, every pass, every tackle is supposed to be a testament to preparation, to sacrifice, to the higher calling of teamwork. Yet when chaos reigns, when the field becomes a place of confusion rather than purpose, it is as though the sacred has been profaned. The game loses its soul. And those who watch, those who love it, those who have invested time, hope, and passion, they feel it too. They sense that something is off, that what they are witnessing is not the glory of the sport, but a shadow of what it was meant to be. And make no mistake, this chaos is not natural. It is not some unavoidable byproduct of competition. It is the result of neglect, of a failure to instill discipline, of a lack of vision and leadership at every level. The coaches who fail to prepare, the players who refuse to focus, the referees who do not hold themselves accountable. They create this storm, and it rages across the field like a plague. But there is hope, because wherever there is chaos, there is also the potential for order. Wherever there is confusion, there is the opportunity for clarity. And if those who love this game, those who have been entrusted with its sacred responsibility, choose to rise, choose to bring focus, choose to bring accountability and vision, the storm can be calmed. The chaos can be transformed into harmony. And let me tell you something about the fans, because they are not innocent bystanders. The fans feel this chaos as a spiritual pain. They come to the stadium or turn on their screens seeking something greater than themselves. A feeling of triumph, a lesson in perseverance, A sense that excellence is being displayed in real time. When the field is chaotic, when coaches, players, and referees are all out of sync, the fans feel betrayed. Their hearts are in the game, their spirits are tied to the outcome, and yet they are confronted with disorder, with confusion, with frustration. They deserve better. They deserve the beauty of skill executed with precision, of strategy unfolding like a well-written story, of every participant knowing their role and performing it with excellence. There is power in discipline. There is holiness in preparation. There is sanctity in leadership. Football was never meant to be a free-for-all, a place where talent alone can substitute for vision, where impulse can replace strategy, where noise can drown out purpose. No, it was meant to be a stage for greatness, a canvas on which human effort and divine order could meet. And until that truth is embraced, until those on the field understand the gravity of their roles and the sacredness of the game, chaos will continue to reign. But let us not despair, because the chaos itself is a message, a call to arms, a divine reminder that discipline, preparation, and leadership are not optional, they are essential. And if they can be restored, if order can be brought back to the field, football can once again rise to the glory it was meant to achieve. The rules of football, all the rules, they are supposed to be the backbone, the pillars that hold this magnificent game up, that give structure and fairness to every pass, every tackle, every touchdown. But instead, they have become a maze, a labyrinth so convoluted that even the wisest among us can lose their way. Every time a new season comes, there is a fresh batch of clarifications and adjustments. And just when you think you understand it, something changes again. And I ask you, how can greatness thrive in a world where the ground keeps shifting beneath your feet? There is no rhythm, no continuity, no sense of certainty. And yet the players are expected to perform like perfection is their birthright, like instinct alone can guide them through the storm of confusion. And the fans, oh, the fans, they come with hearts full of faith, hoping to witness courage and brilliance, hoping to celebrate strategy and teamwork, and instead attempt. They are confronted with chaos masquerading as the rules of the game. Flags pop up like weeds in a garden, penalties appear from nowhere, and suddenly, the beauty of athleticism is buried under a mountain of bureaucracy. It is as if the sacred has been written in a language nobody can understand, and those who are supposed to uphold it, the referees, the league officials, are either lost in translation or blind to the consequences of their complexity. And when the players stumble, when the coaches falter, when the fans cry out in frustration, the blame is not in the spirit of the game, but in the very structure that is supposed to guide it. Rules are meant to bring order, to honor fairness, to protect those who give their bodies and souls to the sport. But when they are overcomplicated, when exceptions outweigh the principles, when every small action is scrutinized under a microscope of ambiguity, football loses its essence. It becomes a test of memorization rather than skill, a struggle to navigate bureaucracy rather than a battle of heart and mind, a theater of confusion rather than a celebration of human potential. And yet we tolerate it. We sit in the stands, we watch on our screens, we act as if this is the natural order of things, forgetting that the divine purpose of rules is to serve the game, not to enslave it, not to confuse, not to turn joy into frustration. And let me tell you something about the players, because they are not the villains here. These are athletes, some of the finest specimens of human endurance, speed, and intelligence. Yet even they are shackled by the chains of complexity, forced to second-guess their instincts, forced to tiptoe through a minefield of interpretations, forced to act not with confidence but with hesitation. And hesitation, my friends, is death in a game where split seconds determine glory or defeat. The brilliance that could shine on the field is dimmed because the rules that should illuminate the path instead cast shadows, leaving everyone to stumble and fumble in the dark. And in all this, there is a lesson, a spiritual lesson. There is a power in simplicity, a holiness in clarity, a sacred order that must be honored if greatness is to manifest. God does not operate in confusion. Creation itself is a symphony of laws, each element in harmony, each force in balance. And football, though human, is a reflection of that divine order. It requires structure. It requires boundaries. It requires rules that guide without suffocating, rules that protect without confusing, rules that elevate rather than obscure. When we abandon that principle, When we allow complexity to replace clarity, when we value technicality over truth, we diminish the very soul of the game, and the chaos spreads because where there is confusion, disorder follows. Coaches cannot craft strategies that can be executed with confidence. Players cannot trust their instincts. Referees cannot enforce justice with authority, and fans cannot celebrate the purity of competition with untainted joy. The ripple effect is profound, touching every corner of the sport, reminding us that even the smallest deviation from divine simplicity can have monumental consequences. Yet hope is not lost, because clarity can be restored, rules can be simplified, and the essence of football can be returned to its rightful glory. And when that happens, the field will once again become a place where greatness is not hidden behind complexity, where skill is not lost in bureaucracy, where heart and mind and body can dance together in harmony, and where the fans can once again witness the pure, unadulterated beauty of a game designed to inspire and uplift flags. Oh, the flags, those little pieces of fabric that fly through the air like angry spirits. Each one a judgment, a punishment, a reminder that something has gone wrong. But here is the truth: there are too many of them, too many interruptions, too many distractions that steal the heart and soul from the game. Every time a player takes a step, every time a coach gestures, every time a fan leans forward in anticipation, there is the sudden whistle, the sudden throw of the flag, and instantly the energy is broken. The momentum that could have carried a team to greatness is halted. The excitement that could have electrified a stadium is drained. And what should be a celebration of skill becomes a lesson in frustration. And I ask you, where's the wisdom in that? Where is the sense of justice when every play feels like a trap, every move a potential mistake, every moment overshadowed by the fear of penalty? The field becomes a battlefield not just of physical prowess, but of caution, where players are no longer free to express their full talent, no longer able to trust their instincts, no longer able to embrace the flow of the game. Instead, they are prisoners of the flag, slaves to the signal, haunted by the fear that every action could be judged, every effort could be nullified, every triumph could be stolen before it is even realized. And this fear spreads like a contagion. Coaches begin to call conservative plays, players hesitate when boldness is required, and the fans, the faithful watchers who come to witness glory, find themselves trapped in a cycle of disappointment and disillusionment. What was meant to be a spectacle of courage and skill becomes a performance of caution and restraint. And yet, the flags themselves are not the enemy. They are symbols, messengers of a principle that has been lost. They remind us that rules are necessary, that fairness is sacred, that the game must honor those who play it with integrity. But when the system is abused, when the penalties are excessive, arbitrary, or inconsistent, the very message is corrupted. Justice becomes a farce. Accountability becomes a joke, and the spirit of competition is drowned in a sea of red, yellow, and white. The sacred balance between freedom and discipline, between risk and reward, is broken, and what we are left with is not a game, but a performance of uncertainty. And I see it in the players' eyes, the weight of expectation, the burden of fear, the knowledge that one misstep could erase hours of effort. One moment of brilliance could be nullified in an instant. Their movements become calculated, their passion tempered, their instincts dulled. And the beauty of athletic expression, the poetry of speed and strength and strategy is lost. Fans cry out for excitement, for passion, for moments that stir the soul, and yet they are confronted with stoppages, with confusion, with a sense that the rules themselves are standing in the way of joy. But this is not merely a technical problem, it is a spiritual problem. There is a higher order, a divine principle that governs not only the game, but the hearts of those who play it. Freedom must exist alongside discipline. Courage must coexist with accountability. Risk must be balanced with wisdom. When the balance is broken, when punishment overshadows play, when fear replaces instinct, the game suffers, and all who love it suffer along with it. The flags in excess become not guides but chains, not symbols of justice, but instruments of frustration. And they transform a field of potential into a stage of limitation. And yet, redemption is possible. The chaos can be tamed. The rules can be applied with clarity, with consistency, with wisdom, allowing players to perform with confidence and courage. The flags can once again serve their true purpose: to guide, to protect, to honor, without extinguishing the flame of passion, without crushing the spirit of the game, without turning what should be a theater of excellence into a prison of fear. The field can be restored to its sacred function, where skill and heart and mind meet in harmony, where every play carries meaning, where every triumph is earned and celebrated, and where the fans, the witnesses of greatness, can once again rise to their feet and cheer with pure, unadulterated joy. Accountability. Oh, accountability. The very word seems simple, yet it is so profoundly missing from the game today. Every player, every coach, every official carries a responsibility, a sacred duty to honor the game, to uphold its integrity, to respect its rules, and yet time and time again, we see a world where actions go unchecked, where mistakes are excused, where mediocrity is tolerated as if it were greatness. The player who disregards a play, the coach who fails to prepare, the referee who misses an obvious call, they all send a message that excellence is optional, that effort can be half-hearted, that the consequences of failure are insignificant, and the impact is felt not just on the field, but in the hearts of those who love the game, in the communities that thrive on its lessons, in the very soul of football itself. When accountability is absent, chaos takes root like a weed in fertile soil. Players no longer feel the weight of responsibility, and their talent, though immense, is squandered. Coaches lose the authority to lead because leadership without consequence is hollow. It is a title, not a calling. Officials who are entrusted with fairness and justice become inconsistent, allowing the rules to bend under the pressure of circumstance rather than standing firm as a pillar of truth. And the fans, those faithful witnesses, watch in dismay as their hopes are dashed, as games are decided not by skill or strategy, but by oversight, negligence, or error. The sacred covenant of competition, the promise that the best shall prevail through discipline and effort, is broken. It is not merely about winning or losing. It is about integrity. It is about honor. It is about respect for the craft, for the team, for the audience, and for the game itself. Every player who shirks responsibility diminishes the collective strength of the team. Every coach who fails to enforce discipline erodes the foundation upon which strategy is built. Every referee who wavers under pressure undermines the very principle of justice. And the ripple effect is devastating. What could have been a display of brilliance becomes a lesson in frustration. What should have been a story of triumph becomes a narrative of disappointment. The sacred rhythm of football, the dance of preparation, execution, and reward is replaced by uncertainty and doubt. And yet there is power in accountability, a divine power that transforms chaos into order, weakness into strength, potential into reality. When every player understands that their actions matter, when every coach recognizes the weight of their leadership, when every official honors the responsibility entrusted to them, the game rises to a higher plane. Discipline becomes a weapon of excellence, preparation becomes the armor of victory, and integrity becomes the soul of the sport. Fans witness not only physical skill, but moral fortitude, not only strategy, but character. Not only a game, but a testament to what it means to be committed, to be responsible, to be accountable. And make no mistake, accountability is not punishment, it is empowerment. It is the key that unlocks potential, the compass that guides decisions, the fire that ignites effort. Without it, football becomes a stage of missed opportunities, squandered talent, and fractured leadership. With it, every practice, every play, every game becomes a manifestation of greatness, a display of what is possible when human effort aligns with principle, when responsibility is embraced rather than avoided, when every participant recognizes that they are not only playing for themselves, but for each other, for the fans, for the history of the sport, and for the legacy that will endure long after the final whistle. And it is this sacred responsibility, this holy principle, that can restore football to its intended glory, where every mistake is acknowledged and corrected, where every effort is measured against a standard of excellence, where chaos is replaced by precision, where hesitation is replaced by confidence, and where the game, once again, becomes a place where greatness is not only possible, but inevitable, and where every player, coach, official, and fan participates in a shared journey of honor, discipline, and the pursuit of victory that resonates far beyond the field. The fans, oh, the fans, they are the heartbeat of football. the lifeblood that pumps energy into every stadium, that fills every screen with hope, anticipation, and passion. Without them, the game is merely a practice, a rehearsal, a collection of moves devoid of meaning. But when the fans are frustrated, when they are left scratching their heads, when they feel that the sport they love has turned against them, the entire foundation shakes. These are people who have invested their time, their energy, their emotions into a game that is supposed to lift them up, that is supposed to inspire, that is supposed to teach lessons of perseverance, courage, and unity. And yet, too often they are confronted with chaos, with poor leadership, with rules that confuse rather than clarify, with penalties that disrupt rather than correct, with moments of brilliance squandered because the system fails to honor them. Every fan comes with faith, like a believer entering a sacred space, hoping to witness something greater than themselves. They bring their children, their families, their communities, carrying traditions that span generations, hoping to see heroes emerge, to see glory achieved, to see justice executed on the field. And when the players stumble, when the coaches falter, when the referees fail, the fans feel it in their souls. They feel the disappointment, the betrayal, the emptiness of watching something that should elevate them instead leave them in disillusionment. And it is not just about entertainment. It is about the sacred covenant between the game and those who love it. Every cheer, every gasp, every tear of joy or frustration is a testament to the human spirit invested in this spectacle. And when the game fails them, it is not merely a loss of points or trophies. It is a spiritual wound, a fracture in the connection between passion and purpose. The frustration of the fans is a mirror of the deeper disorder that has infiltrated the game. Where there should be clarity, there is confusion. Where there should be discipline, there is carelessness. Where there should be accountability, there is neglect. And the fans, ever faithful, bear the burden of watching potential wasted, of witnessing skill undermined, of feeling that the very essence of what makes football sacred is slipping through their fingers. Their voices rise in stadiums, across airwaves, through social media, pleading silently for the restoration of order, for the return of the game to its rightful glory, for the recognition that their love for football is not passive but sacred, deserving of respect, attention, and honor. And here lies the power of the fan. They are both witnesses and guardians, their eyes and hearts serving as the conscience of the game. Every cheer, every sigh, every chant, every clap carries weight, reminding players, coaches, and officials that they are accountable not just to themselves, but to a community that believes in the sanctity of the sport. And when the fans' faith is tested, when their hope is strained, the game itself suffers, because a sport that does not inspire its followers is a sport that has lost its soul. Football is meant to be a shared experience, a sacred ritual of courage and discipline. And when that connection between the field and the stands is broken, the spirit of the game falters. Yet there is hope, because fans are not powerless. Their voices, their passion, their expectations can guide, can influence, can remind every participant of the higher purpose of the game. When fans demand excellence, when they expect accountability, when they refuse to settle for chaos and confusion, they hold up a mirror to the players, coaches, and referees, showing them the reflection of what is right, what is possible, what is sacred. They are a living testament to the truth that football is not merely a game of physicality and strategy, but a covenant of respect, integrity, and shared human experience. And when the fans are honored, when their faith is rewarded, when their expectations are met with excellence, the game rises, the spirit soars, the joy returns, and football becomes not just a sport, but a celebration of courage, unity, and the pursuit of greatness that touches every heart in every stadium, every home, every soul that has ever believed in its magic. There is a solution, a path forward, a way to restore the soul of football, and it lies in simplicity, clarity, and purpose. Too long have we watched chaos reign. Too long have players, coaches, referees, and fans suffered under confusion. Too long has the beauty of the game been buried beneath noise, bureaucracy, and fear. The fixes are not complicated. They are not hidden in secret playbooks. They are not dependent on talent alone. They are principles that have guided every great endeavor in human history. Principles rooted in discipline, accountability, fairness, and respect. And when these principles are applied with intention, with faith, with courage, the game transforms. The field becomes a sacred space once more, where every pass, every run, every tackle has meaning, where every play honors preparation, skill, and heart, and where every participant understands that they are part of something greater than themselves. Imagine a game where chaos is tamed by leadership, where every coach knows their role and executes it with wisdom, where every player moves with confidence and clarity, where every referee enforces justice with consistency and integrity, and where the fans are no longer witnesses to disorder, but participants in a celebration of excellence. This is not a fantasy. It is the natural state of football when order is restored, when the divine principles of preparation and discipline are honored. And the energy on the field would be electric, not because of noise or confusion, but because of precision, because of skill aligned with purpose, because of human potential unleashed under the guidance of structure and clarity. Every touchdown, every interception, every brilliant play would carry not just points, but meaning a testimony to what is possible when chaos is replaced by intentionality. And let us not forget the spiritual dimension of this transformation. The field is a reflection of life itself, a stage where lessons of courage, integrity, teamwork, and accountability are not just displayed, but embodied. When the game operates with clarity and fairness, it teaches not only those on the field, but those who watch, those who cheer, those who invest their hearts and souls in it. It becomes a living sermon, a divine example of what happens when human effort is aligned with principle, when skill is guided by wisdom, when passion is tempered by discipline. And in this alignment, the joy of the sport is magnified, the spirit of competition is sanctified, and the sacred covenant between the game and its followers is restored. The beauty of these fixes is that they are within reach. They require courage to implement, wisdom to apply, and faith in the transformative power of order. Coaches must step into their calling with conviction, understanding that leadership is sacred and that their guidance shapes not only plays but character. Players must embrace responsibility, knowing that their talent alone is insufficient without discipline, focus, and heart. Referees must uphold justice with unwavering consistency, becoming the moral compass of every game. And fans who bring energy, expectation, and love must demand excellence and recognize the power of their witness in shaping the culture of the sport. Together, this alignment of purpose creates a force so powerful that chaos cannot survive, confusion cannot persist, and the true glory of football emerges in all its brilliance. And in this restored game, the impact reaches far beyond the field. Communities are uplifted, young athletes are inspired, and the very culture of football becomes a testament to what happens when order, clarity, and purpose prevail. It is a reminder that greatness is not accidental. That success is not random. That joy is not given but earned through alignment with principle. Every practice becomes a lesson in preparation. Every game a test of discipline. Every triumph a celebration of collective effort guided by vision. And the fans who have endured disappointment, who have felt the pain of chaos, who have longed for clarity and excellence, are finally rewarded with the experience they deserve, a sport that elevates, inspires, and connects, a game that fulfills its sacred purpose, a testament to what can happen when the human spirit, guided by principle, is allowed to flourish without obstruction,